Hello, fire signs. So I pulled quite a few cards here, and this seems like a love reading. I hear not quite what you're expecting for, or quite what you're expecting for. Not sure between the two. Let me just this camera. For some reason, it's dark. In a way, it's dark. There you go. Better. A bit. Fine. Okay. So what I get here is that in the present moment, you're not at your best. You appear, I think it's you because it's also like a fire sign. We have the King of Wands reversed. I think you're thinking of manifesting something different in your life than what you're used to. In the past, because I see like a younger version of yourself, it might be younger in age, but also might be like immature. So maybe when it doesn't have to be necessarily in age, maybe it could have been like a year ago or 2 years ago when, depends when you had that growth spur, let's say. But your immature version in the past has been hurt in a specific relationship. Uh, wounded child. I hear wounded child. And I think you couldn't stand up. You weren't able to stand up for yourself, or you let your guard down and you got hurt anyway. So there's that. And it's as if I think you're recuperating from that. I think this is something that is influencing this whole situation here. In the recent past, since this hurt has been, it's as if since this hurt happening, you've been like in this dissatisfied state on an emotional level, and you're a bit conflicted, unsure, indecisive on how to change this. In the near future, you might have either multiple options, or it's like being stuck in limbo when you have something in front of you and you're like not sure what to do with it, or to step into it or not, that kind of situation. Stuck, but it's not like bad stuck. It's not a thing that keeps you in a loop or anything. It's as if you're taking a pause. Let's say you're looking at it. I got one of the words, actually, the first word that I got from it was in awe. So you're either looking at something and trying to connect to it, as to feel it, take it in. Return to sender, I hear. Return to sender. Anyway, I'll figure this out along the way. How you see yourself as exhausted, unbalanced, and you need rest. I think you're doing a lot of overthinking now, and your mind is being affected by different thoughts, and maybe your body is as well dealing with something. I got from the recent, either now or in the recent past, I got seasonal cold, because there is like a body relationship here and the mind as well. There might be fog, confusion, and you might need some rest and some healing. We have good news as well, because in your environment is actually quite positive. There are two ways I could see the situation here, especially with the future multiple options card. You might be, if you're into polyamory, that kind of situation, there might be some sort of that type of thing, or triangles types of, I don't see it as drama. It's just, maybe flirtatious energy, that kind of situation. Or you'll be invited to a ceremony, a celebration, or something. There's a celebration happening, and it's like there's an invite, communication about this, an invite where you have the possibility to participate, and it might be a date. It might be, but it's in regards with multiple people. So it might be like an invitation to go somewhere where there are many people, say, celebrating something. So it might be a birthday or graduation or something, basically. An event, let's say, where you can get some drinks and stuff like that. You have still fears, you have conflictual ideas, but the outcome has good potential. There is a decision that has been made or will be made, and will allow you to, I hear the worst is yet to happen. Let me see what's going on here. I was like, what? I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm preaching positivity here, and then you say the worst is yet to happen. It's as if you're fearing the worst. It's like the worst case scenario, and you're leaving. You will be able to trust the situation instead of going towards the worst case scenario, and this will help you connect with someone, I believe, because you will allow yourself to have faith in it. It's like you not bypass. It's as if whatever worst case scenario might happen, it will go by your side, so you won't have to face it. It will just drop. What's the verb here? You just fall. It will just slip by your side, basically. You'll avoid it, basically. But you don't have to do anything specific. It's just, I think there's a decision here of moving forward, leaving something behind. Maybe this catastrophizing, probably. Belief in the worst case scenario. So it's as if maybe changing belief in something better. Okay, so that got me a bit. Okay, some of the ideas, yes, concepts that I got was recent past, and I think it's overflowing in the present, is disappointed with something. Then I got in awe for the future, as I mentioned already. Death and rebirth, and this was related more from the past towards the present, death and rebirth. Celebratory movement for your environment, from which the invitation stood, basically. Stood from? My English at this hour, honestly. Harsh, I got again, harsh communication, overprotective. Harsh communication, overprotective, maybe jealous. This is some unbalanced attributes for the King of Wands here, for your present, basically. Unfortunate events. So you had some unfortunate events happening, even quite recently, I want to say. Younger version for the past. Seasonal cold, I already said that. You might be experiencing some seasonal cold. Not your fault. Not your fault comes to mind. Then on your mind, there is like, not your time, not ready. It's as if your mind is saying that you're not ready. Maybe you're aware because you are aware that you need to rest. So for whatever this is, it's like you're meditating here, you're preparing yourself, maybe a bit overthinking on how to proceed forward with something, but you don't feel like quite ready. And that might stem from your ego, but we'll get there as well. Then we got people. I got the word strongly, the word people, and indecision. So might be multiple people involved here. And then what is it? Find a match. Find your match or a match. See how that goes. And the last one for the outcome, decision has been made. So it's as if there's no escaping this. Worst case scenario. Yeah, so overall, I think it's a positive reading here. We'll get into it quickly, so we'll see. So in the present moment, we have the King of Wands reversed alongside with the Magician upright. And yeah, no, I'll get there. The clarifying cards for them were Eight of Wands upright and the Five of Wands reversed. From these ones, I got the harsh communication, because this is travel, this is communication. There might be some travel involved as well here, because we have Eight of Wands and we have Six of Swords there as well. And then we had like the World and the Wheel, seasons. So you might be changing climate or something, going somewhere, maybe on holiday, because it is like holidays, especially with the cold. I got, when I focused on the seasonal cold, I got an idea of like changing climate. So when you change the climate, you may get like, your body reacts to it, basically. You may get a cold if you go from hot to cold and whatnot, or just change the environment like that. If it's like a long travel. Maybe you did travel in the recent past, because we have also the Three of Wands upright, which is looking towards new horizons. It's as if you were hoping for something in the recent past. It's as if you were hoping, you went on for some of you, you went on a travel hoping to find some clarity and truth, and maybe rest and whatnot, to enjoy yourself and to balance yourself, to find a sense of moderation and a certain level of satisfaction, let's say. Regain your inner power, inner stability, let's say. but it didn't quite pan out, as in you looked outside, but with the Ace of Swords reversed, it's as if you're more confused than ever, I want to say, more confused than before. So that moment of clarity, of truth, like inner wisdom, maybe didn't come or did arrive, but it wasn't quite what you wanted with the Four of Cups. It's as if not crying over spilled milk, but it's as if you have options, but you're not quite satisfied by them. And you're not, because you're in the state of mourning or whatever it is. It's like, head down, you're not seeing this new opportunity, shining light behind you. Um, so it's like when you change environments hoping to find something better, and then you find out that you actually bring your issues with you. So sometimes changing your environment helps, um but I think you either looking forward like that, as if you're looking more to the external rather than internal. So there might be like an imbalance here. um you might have understood this, because it's as if you wanted temperance. We have in the recent past, we have temperance upright, and how you see yourself, we have temperance reversed. So you understand that you tend to go from one excess to another, possibly. You're not healed, I want to say. You're not There's something there that needs to be dealt with, basically. But you, by looking outside for clarity, let's say, you didn't quite you didn't quite find what you needed to find. um, Maybe, for example, you needed some time alone, and you find out, like, I don't know, I think you didn't quite connect with yourself, for whatever reason. Maybe you said, okay, I'm unbalanced, I'm gonna try to rest or have this trip or whatever, but it just didn't give you the satisfaction that you needed. So you're now in your present, like he's standing, mm, you know, it's like when he's upright, so he has this face. It's like, yeah, now what? That kind of situation. So it looks like a man who has to, like a guy who's forced to stay at home because he's tired, and he's sick, basically. He doesn't like that. He doesn't enjoy that. Like more like a grumpy, maybe more older type of person who's like, I need to do this and that. I want to do this, but I'm sort of like forced to stay inside the house, like grounded energy. Like grounded energy when he needs to rest, basically, to heal. And he's like, no, I don't want this. I don't like this. So there's that. That's your present. So it's as if you went on a trip and you came back worse, kind of situation. It's like, okay, great. I didn't get the clarity, and I also got a cold. uh, so with the alchemist, again, he's like, I'm trying to figure this out, whatever situation. How can I shift this? How can I move things along in a positive manner? I think this is related more to relationships, I believe, but it starts with you being more balanced within yourself to feel good. You want to feel good, basically, which makes sense. Physically, mentally, and spiritually here. Spiritually, especially spiritually, and emotionally in this case. So connecting, there's a sense of a certain level of connectedness here. And you're communicating, though. So I think it's like you're a bit pissed off, that kind of this kind of vibe. Again, grumpy gives to mind. It's like harsh communication came earlier. Resilient also comes to mind. So maybe through this heartbreak that you went through, and sickness, and not quite receiving what you wanted, you're still resilient in finding ways on how to work this, to again, I keep hearing move things along. You want to start up. Either you want to create a new startup, or you're thinking of creating a new business, or start things up. I think it might be also like in a career sense, because the crossing card here, we had the Prince of Pentacles, which it could be a job offer, like a freelancer type of thing. Um, but it's like it's not quite happening, and you're trying to figure out how to make this happen. I'm saying because the clarifying card for the Prince of Pentacles, which is Knight of Pentacles, we had again the Magician, but this time in reverse. So the situation is not, so it's as if you're trying to concoct, so it's sort of like find ways to manipulate the situation and how to fit you better, basically. There might be some competition here as well. And dark voices. You hear dark voices. I think you've identified a specific issue that you might have. I hear impulsivity, impulsive actions. I think you've faced, I hear upfront. You're upfront about it. You don't like it. It's weird because I get a really decisive energy here, but in the near future, indecisive came to mind. It's as if you're decisive about what you want, but indecisive, like if you have multiple options and people, you still have to decide which one or how or that kind of situation. Uh, stood your ground. You stood your ground with something, but you're still unbalanced. Um, overprotective. It makes sense with overprotective, of course. Barrier. Um, I think you're trying to clear up your mind of whatever doubts you might have had from the past. It's as if what I get is like with dark voices was like what people told you from the past about who you were, what ideas, other people's ideas you've integrated as a reflection of yourself. So you're trying to sort of like detox your mind. It's like you went into a certain defense mode where you're protecting your ego from being influenced by gossip, disbelief, other people's projections, um, chatter. So the clarifying card for the magician here was the hermit, looking for. So I think you're single. I believe you're. Yeah, you're on your own. This is a single reading. Um, newly single or newly single. Um, it gives mature energy here. So I'm probably reading for a collective that has more from 30s onwards, that kind of situation. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but I get like mature man here because I have the hermit and I was very focused on the king of wands as well, and especially because it was connected in the base pattern, the past, a younger version of this king of wands. This is the prince of wands. It's as if when that present king of wands was the prince of wands, basically. With him came three of swords, which is hurt, heartbreak, being disappointed, and the clarifying cards were two of cups reversed, nine of wands reversed, and the high priestess reversed. So there was like a disconnection here from a connection. There was a disconnection from a partnership, a breakup, possibly a breakup or a loss. And you probably disconnected from yourself as well, and you got hurt. And this usually this is the card of the wounded warrior, the nine of wands. So there's a person who has been hurt, who fought many battles and is protecting, is standing their ground. In this case, it was reversed. Is what I got with it was like leeway. So it's as if people had leeway in hurting you, or you gave somebody leeway and they hurt you, that kind of situation. And now you're like in this overprotective mode, where you've built up your barrier, the defenses, and you're coming at people. Maybe you're fighting against their voices. It's as if, no, I know best. Maybe defensiveness as well. What I got also was like resilient, because you probably have been hurt multiple times, because this is just like a pattern. If you were younger and it happened multiple times, then you probably got into the state of disappointment where it's like you're looking for new horizons, and yet, in order to get the healing and moderation and temperance, and help and healing again. But with the Ace of Swords reversed, it's like there's no clear pathway on how to do that, because you're not receiving your ships here, basically. Somebody's not telling the truth, I hear. Somebody wasn't telling the truth. You weren't getting the truth. You were dismissed, I believe. There is a sense of dismissal. I think you came forward as a young person, as a youngster. You had a lot of passion and a lot of energy and strive, I hear. There was a lot of strive and faithfulness, probably. Not necessarily faithful, but as in yourself, a courageous energy, because you were still young, so that's fine. I'm not saying you did or did not do anything or betrayal and whatnot. It's just this, because his wanderer, I hear it's a wanderer. So you were, passionate, you were willing to explore the world and stuff, and but maybe you weren't, because you were young, There might be an aspect of naivete, but I don't think so in this case. It's more like being disconnected from a more mature part. This is what I see the high priestess being as mature as um, in life lessons. So you might have had wit, you might have had like a good dose of humor and charisma and again passion and being boisterous. I hear boisterous out loud and enjoying yourself and whatnot. But it's as if flimsy came into mind as well. But it's like you've lacked the experience, the life experience, let's say life knowledge, the depth of it, the depth, and thus heartbreak. Maybe you weren't able to recognize it, or you just didn't know how to deal with it, or that you had this possibility of connecting with yourself, or you were disconnected. Anyway, all sorts of scenarios that may have happened. And it brought you to this state of tiresome state, looking for the truth, looking for, it's as if, okay, it's also, it's like shameful comes, it's shameful. Also self-pity, there is a state of commiseration here, self-pity, but shameful comes at this in the sense of me as an observer looking at this person, looking at this Four of Cups and the Prince of Wands. It's shameful that it's a shame that this has happened, because I believe I hear genuine connection. There was like a potential for genuine connection, and it's a pity. It's a pity that you got hurt, basically, because you probably either didn't deserve that, or you were, it's as if when somebody's genuinely themselves and people come at them because they're triggered by this genuinity, authenticity, however that may manifest it, again, if it was boisterous, if it was exorbitant, I hear it's like, in their face, like a Leo type of energy, and or Aries as well, a bit more stubborn, fruitful maybe. And it's as if somebody cut the branch on which you sat, or something like that, cut your legs in Romanian, they say, as in your stability. And it's like hurting a youngster, and it's not, why would you do that? That kind of situation. But it happens. Yeah. Anyway, so returning to the present, you're in this state. Maybe you're sort of like being as a more mature now person, you're trying to think about whatever all this past, but you're not in a good space, I believe. I think it's like you're being a bit upset, this is the consequences of, I'm not saying this is all your environment's fault. It gives, by this King of Wands, by being in reverse, it gives also like a sense of irresponsibility a bit. It's like deflecting a bit the blame, because he's not quite willing in, again, not seeing this light here, this cup as in mirror, not seeing that mirror actually. So yes, bad things have happened to your younger self, but now you're maybe 30 plus, and you've went through a lot. Maybe you've gained some life experiences. Maybe it's time for you to connect to your high priestess, to your more spiritual side, as to, I hear, perform better life, create a new pathway for yourself, basically. So again, I get pissed off pissed off here, but you're trying to Madonna. I know what's happening. So you're trying to see the light here in order to avoid, I hear, false steps. Your mind is conflicted in this situation. You're trying to build something, to create something, maybe a startup, maybe a project, maybe a new life, maybe a whole new life, including career and love life as well. By looking at it like that, with the Lover's card in the near future, it might be partnerships, like fulfilling partnerships, emotionally fulfilling partnerships. I immediately, because I got, heartbreak, lovers, Page of Cups twice, I immediately thought of love relationships, which for you, there might be potential for one, like dating, that kind of situation. But it might also involve like a bigger picture type of situation here, regarding your abundance. I think you're, again, in this moment, you're trying to move forward with something. Again, move along came. Um, Step by step, maybe at a slower pace, but it's as if trembling comes. It's as if it's trembling, but you're taking a chance on something probably. So on your mind, we have the Five of Swords upright. It is a card of victory, ego victory, let's say. There might be some, not deceit, but especially with harsh, with harsh communication, and the Five of Wands reversed with the Eight of Wands upright. It's as if you faced some demons. You faced some people, some conflictual energies. Um, it's as if I'm done, and you've put yourself in this resolute stance where it's as if you're okay. I'm gonna be selfish now, that kind of situation. Um, you went through mental blockages. I think there might be some of it that's still affecting you because we have the Five of Swords, then we had the Prince of Wands reversed. So lack of inspiration here. So your mind wasn't quite inspired. It was just fighting battles, and it's mental exhaustion here. It's lack of energy, lack of focus, lack of direction. It might be also because if you're like having a cold or something, it might be affected by that as well. But what I get, like clarifying cards, we had the shadow side, which is the devil, basically in this case, in this deck. So codependency comes to mind, obsessive behavior as well. So it might be like with the Five of Swords upright, maybe overthinking, or some mental. I do get mental resilience, but it's when you're tired, and maybe there are some habits that are not quite good for you anymore. They're not that functional for you, but they help you go through this tiresome state. Hence the King of Wands reversed. So it's not quite positive, but at least it gets you through it. It's like move along, one step at a time. Other clarifying cards were the nine of Cups and the World reversed. For this, I got you're not ready. It's like on your mind is like not your time, not your time. This is not the right time. This is not the right time. Because you're still trying to figure this out, and you don't feel ready. It might be overall. This might be like a expression of an overprotective side of yours, which with the devil it might be like this excessive defensiveness. And it's like when you're trying, in Italian comes pignolo. It's like when you're trying to prepare, if you have a plan, a strategy for something, like when to open something, open a business, for example, or go through like expressing your feelings or whatever you want to do. You have something and you're trying to figure this out in detail, but it's like a bit too much, because it's like overcompensating for that overprotective side, let's say. um, it's like keeping with the Five of Swords, it's like keeping your guard up constantly, and you're always like in Italian comes sul piede di guerra. So whenever somebody approaches you, you're always ready to fight, that kind of situation. um, so you're reactive. Again, impulsiveness, reactiveness, overprotectiveness, which makes sense with the base patterns. If you've been hurt, maybe you were more genuine, more authentic, you're more open, you're more willing to move forward. You sort of like you got cut off, and maybe multiple times, and you're like you were in this energy of like trying to figure things out and whatnot, and now you're like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try to move as a more mature adult man or woman, because it's a general reading, but he comes as a masculine here. I'm gonna try to move forward with all my issues here. It's like being you are attacked on multiple fronts, and you are now like with the it's like this Nine of Wands has reversed came upright, so it's like holding your guard up while moving forward, but still being affected by obviously coping mechanisms and not believing in that the world that is your time. Yeah, so if you had like delays in projects and things not panning out, not getting the opportunities that you wanted, um, you're trying to connect basically somehow. I think you're still focused on the exterior a bit too much. So what you did in the past as a youngster, maybe you were naturally connected to a certain degree, but you got sort of like disconnected when your heart was broken, and you started building up defenses and whatnot, and being in this discouraging energy. Um, and or the immaturity, you were maybe young and immature and didn't know when to listen to your own intuition because maybe you didn't yet have a gut feeling or you weren't listening because you were too overly excited, you know. Boisterous again is like unbalanced because the high priestess reverse can be also unbalanced. So maybe this fiery, your fiery nature, in this case, being serving as a protective sense can create a lot of conflict. So it's not towards more connecting, but it's more fighting off at this point. And here it's like, get off me, you know, that kind of situation. I don't think you're a person. I hear. I hope I won't have issues with this one, but on TikTok, it's like you're not the person to be fucked around with, you know. But it's as if your worst enemy is yourself in this case, your own hurts, basically, rather than people around you. You can fight them off, but it's your life, your choices, your interpretation, your narratives that are actually keeping you unsatisfied. Your actions or behaviors, obviously, your choices. So moving along, in the near future, we have the Lovers upright and the Seven of Cups upright. So what I did see is like you were in awe about this when I got. So it's like, wow, you know, it's like you're discovering something. So it's like in the present with all these cards here, it's like you were working on trying and finding and detailing and maintaining a certain. It's like it's a bit. It gives a bit of rigidity, but also impulsivity. And so there's like a energy. I don't particularly like it, but it's like I dislike it. It's just I don't know. I think it needs a balance. Let's say it needs to freshen up. So basically, it's your King of Wands needs to return as upright, as to be more generative, creative type of person. Can be a family man, can be a dad, can again generous comes to mind. So overextending outwards, not just fight off and close in, you know, that kind of situation, because it's very difficult to generate things from that space as well. So in this case, it's as if you find a certain connection, a certain unity comes to mind, the unity. So maybe you find a person with whom to create a unity, or it could be just a sensation, a feeling, a something. It's as if you discover America, you know. So because I keep going to the High Priestess reversed, it's like a click, an aha moment, or something like that, where you understand the importance of connection and unity, rather than being selfishly on your own and trying to figure things out as well on your own. So it's as if facing this grief comes to mind as well, facing this past grief and disappointments. And it's like then it's like, which way to go, which way, what to choose, you know, how can I approach this? So it's sort of like a wish, because especially the Nine of Cups here, you might have like drinking tendencies here. Be careful of drinking tendencies, especially with traveling and with communicating. So some people may have, again, harsh communication, maybe more boisterous. Boisterous is the word of the day, apparently. It's like when they're drinking, they over communicate, or they become a bit conflictual, or you know, that kind of situation. So that might be part also of the shadow side here. So I would avoid that. I wouldn't do that, especially if you don't have the clarity here and you're trying to create stuff. So appease yourself. I hear appease yourself. Maybe have some anger issues, or let me see, callousness comes to mind as well, and jealous, just to complete the picture. So uh, so yeah, it's the typical return to sender. It's as if it's like you've been returned to sender or something like that. um, Maybe people dislike you, or you were disliked because of these traits, or not accepted because of these traits. And these traits came from the past, and it's as if you're trying to avoid conflict or something. Anyway, but there's a shift, because I did get death and rebirth. I didn't get the death card here as a sign of transformation, but I did get the Lovers. So with the Lovers, there are two choices to be made, especially with the Seven of Cups here, like multiple choices. There has to be a commitment. There will be a possibility of a commitment here in the near future. So it's as if you're being dragged, I hear, like it's like a cycle of returning. So you were moving like this, and now it's sort of like that somehow. You have to go through it, basically. You can't avoid it and keep yourself guarded and fight people off because you're scared of not winning. Because it's interesting, because we have on your mind, we have Five of Swords, so it's winning. This is argumentative, okay? But in your fears and obstacles, we have Five of Swords reversed, losing. So your fear of losing. And another card that came with it was the Wheel reversed, bad timing, missed opportunities, or missed chances, or something like that. Be careful that this multiple options, that doesn't create like a decision paralysis, I think it's called. Because if you have like a strong fear of losing and you're focused on only on winning, this is a very hard attribute to maintain in a relationship. Let me express myself better. This is a very hard attribute to maintain, to have in maintaining and wanting to maintain balance in a relationship. Because it is not, in a genuine relationship, it is not about power plays, you know. It can be sometimes, you know, if that's what you enjoy, you know, but the main idea here is also a bit of compromise, and it's also to look at the benefit of the other, not only for yourself. So there has to be a change of behavior here, and there is, I think you have a chance. You have a chance here. So the clarifying cards for the Lovers, I think, was the Page of Cups reversed, and we have and for the Seven of Cups, we have the Ten of Wands reversed and the Six of Swords reversed. With this came Return to Sender. So there might be an opportunity, an option from the past coming back around, or you're revisiting something from the past. Maybe there's somebody traveling to you, or you going to them, or there's some sort of distance travel or something, like returning from a trip or something like that. Long distance relationship for some of you. Castles in the sky. It's like dropping your burdens and unfulfillment and lack of connection and emotional communication, and keep going back to the past. Maybe returning always to the state of sorrow, which triggers this King of Wands reversed. So there has to be a decision here. I think it regards a lot to do with self-love as well, self-care especially, because it's as if there's lack of this type of offering, and you need to drop something here, because it's like you're overburdened. You keep going from the Ten of Wands reversed, we go to again Nine of Wands. So it's like you're holding on to something, these defenses that don't allow you to sail away with what you think, what you retain to be more important to you. You know, it's very difficult to understand what's important to you as well, especially with the card of illusions. If you're in the state of unwillingness to try new things, to sort of, because if there's like a fear of losing, you're trying to keep control over everything, which it's very difficult to do, especially in new circumstances. And if you want to be like this magician, you try to create maybe things from a small space, defensive, like an inner circle, which it can be still great, you know, but I don't know how generative it might be actually, and helpful, because I see you like, especially with this guy, is he can overcompensate, you know, so he wants to do more, which is fair, it's fine. But if you're unbalanced, then you might either overextend or just basically work from space that isn't, again, that generative, you know. So you need maybe more self-love, self-care, self-nurturing, and decide how to move forward, basically. We'll see if anything else pops up there. How do you see yourself? You see yourself as Temperance reverse, so you do see yourself as you are. So there's no doubt in that. So you actually see the truth, let's say, to a certain degree. And the Four of Swords, it's like resting, it's meditating, contemplating, trying to find a balance. The clarifying cards were Four of Swords again, so we have twice the Four of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles reversed again, of balance, unbalanced. It's as if you're trying to overdo things. You're tired and you're not managing things properly. You are dropping stuff, you have to let go stuff, especially if you're tired or exhausted or sick, it's difficult to maintain that kind of level of productivity. So it's as if, okay, no, I need to whoosh to chill a bit. Okay. So in your environment, we have, which is good because maybe it would give you like time for reflection, connection. This is self-nurturing again. So self-care, self-love. This is great that you decided to rest. So your environment, as I mentioned earlier, was Six of Wands, celebration, happy, 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 joyful energy, and the Princess of Cups, which is great. So Princess of Cups is the Page of Cups in this deck, and we had already the Page of Cups. It was reversed in the near future, clarifying the lovers. So there was lack of, it's as if, I think, if, it might be, it's as if like you'll make a choice about your maybe love life or self-love, and you acknowledge it. It's like you're in awe, so you connect, maybe manage to connect to a different part of yourself or something like that, or you meet a new person. There might be like you meet a potential match or something, and it gives the Lulu vibes as well. So it depends how you manifest in something. It is love. It is about love and partnerships and unity and unions. So I think you want to manifest this aspect in your life, and you do have the option here of the Princess of Cups here. So you invite somebody, or you will get invited to some sort of celebration, because the clarifying cards for these two were again Six of Wands. So we have twice the Six of Wands here, and the Three of Cups here. Gathering, a group. I think maybe birthday, matrimony. Maybe you're going to a wedding or something. It's like me being my plus one or that kind of situation. Yeah, so accomplishment, happiness, joy. It's a good card, the Six of Wands, and also all the other ones. Maybe there's somebody with blue eyes. Somebody caught your eye here. There's a specific person, potential love interest. They might be a water sign. They don't have to be, because we're talking about emotions here. So invitation came to mind. There might be also multiple people watching you guys, maybe. It's like kind of, you don't care. I don't think you care. Yeah, they're like, so what, But I think, because I look at the Six of Wands here, this guy, and he reminds me of the King of Wands here. So if you look closely, it's like King of Wands and this guy on the horse there. I think you will manage to turn this around, and it will be through love connection. It will start within you as a choice, an inner choice, possibly, inspiration, possibly from external, but it has to come from within as well, as to connect to your intuition and start to heal whatever this was, if you haven't done it so already. In order to this Two of Cups to mend whatever energies you had lingering and were bringing you to this state of unseen opportunities, okay, missed opportunities, because again, one of your fears is to miss opportunities, timings, delays, and whatnot. So I think you will turn this around, and you'll be more an active participant in whatever this gathering will be. And it's a happy time comes, happy times. There might be different potential options here. Third parties, but again, it's not like a manipulative situation. It's like, only getting attention, that kind. Is attention seeking, possibly, but there is a specific person as well that caught your interest, either inspired you or caught your both, basically caught your interest. Fears and obstacles already talked out, so timings, and maybe your fear is also regarding age, because since we were talking about age here, with the wheel of time, it's like losing something, like a time pressure, or because maybe maybe you have a certain age, and you're like, all this love stuff is a bit overwhelming. And it's as if you woke in the dragon, because like, it's weird to be dealing with this as when you were a youngster. It's like reviving that youngster part, that fiery side and driven part. It's fun because, look, it's fun. So fun side, okay, it's like you have this chariot comes to mind, movement forward, move along. So it's as if it's like when you start the car and then you have somebody driving you, it's pushing you, taking you out from a certain environment and throwing you into the woods. Into the woods. So I don't know, somewhere where you can like in this more cheerful environment where you can have fun, you can enjoy yourself, okay? Especially if you've been sick and it's as if, let's party a bit. Be careful of drinking again. But anyway, I was telling you, this is your youngster energy, your younger energy on a horse. And I saw again this guy on a horse. Even though the age is he's more mature, he's like sort of like retrieving his inner passion. Okay, keep in mind that we had on your mind there was like lack of inspiration, lack of passion, which you were probably overcompensating with different coping mechanisms and stuff like that, and keeping yourself a bit small, I believe, in your own world by being reversed, using your energies in a reversed way, as in excessive manner, unbalanced manner. But through the choice of connecting maybe with yourself, with self-love, self-care, and nurturing and accepting invitations and saying yes to life. This gives saying yes to life, basically. So with returning to the fears and obstacles, it's as if it's like at my age, it feels like at my age doing this again, that kind of thing. It might not have, it doesn't have to be like a big age gap or something, but it just feels maybe again, you were in a slumber or something on an emotional level, and you're like being stimulated of interacting with life again. So healing, starting finally to heal and enjoy yourself and find your heart again in things that you love and care about, okay? Because so far it's as if this was neglected. So following your passion, your connection with what gives you love, okay? This is so nice. Okay, so the potential outcome, what was this? Okay, let me see. So we have this here, this there, and yes, we have these. And I believe you will find a lady here because we have an empress here. So she is an archetype. It can be like an abundance, general abundance thing, let's say. So it might not be a person if you're like working on a project or something and you're connected with this self-love and you follow your passion, whatever warms your heart. So it gives you that emotional satisfaction. And you're if it is like a job thing, you're like inauguration or something, so you're opening to people and people cheer for you, celebrate you, and at this maybe, if you're having again a startup or something. So it's working. It's as if you're like in a hermit mode now. You're trying to overcome whatever obstacles you might have, and then you burst out, that kind of situation. And this might lead you to abundance and glorified. I hear you being glorified. You're being nurtured, rich. It gives rich vibes and return of investment. Okay, this gives it. For some other people, it might be like relationship wise. I mentioned earlier, like avoiding the worst case scenario. So with these fears here of losing and missing opportunities, and what if this happens? What if I get rejected? What if this doesn't happen? Whatever. So once you make the choice of stepping into this energy of celebration and believing and making this choice of leaving, because we have so potential outcome, we have the Prince of Swords upright, the Eight of Cups upright, and it's good because we had the Eight of Cups as a clarifying card reversed in your present, so you couldn't leave from something for some reason, and there were like delays and fear of mistakes and that kind of situation. In this case, we have Eight of Cups upright, so you're leaving something behind. You have made a decision. The clarifying card was the Two of Swords reversed, so a concrete logical decision of leaving something behind. And I think it has and express move fiercely. What I got here in the present moment, it's as if you're thinking, contemplating, trying to build something, as I said. And where is he? I can't find it anyway. You were hoping for a Knight of Pentacles, like moving slowly, strategically, tactically, whatever. This is the Knight of Swords, so the outcome is like bursting through. It's like moving towards cutting, saying, communicating, choosing, deciding. It's that your mind has been clarified. Okay, you managed to turn this Ace of Swords upright and say, okay, I see the truth, I see what's going on, I'm finally into myself more, connected more to myself, and managed to hold my head high, okay, despite everything that has happened. And I think trusting, connecting. Maybe for some of you, you might meet a person, an empress, a mother. She has the potential for motherhood. She might be already a mother, or you want her to be a mother, or she's just good. She's like all the queens. She's stable. She's nurturing. She's creativity. Okay. So again, for some, you might you might step into this Empress energy where you gain this creativity and you're celebrated and enjoying life and stepping out of your shell. For others, maybe both actually, because when you start embracing love into your life, opportunities will come for you to explore that love and to find a certain balance within, because you're starting to give yourself that nurturing side that you were trying to get from outside, okay, with the shadow side, with the devil. So then you start seeing new opportunities and how to enhance your life, because you have maybe decided what best suits you, what are your priorities, and in this case is love for yourself, okay, in this case. So forgiveness, maybe forgiveness, moderation for whatever state you are, maybe if you're immature or whatever, and healing your heart, and stop choosing to not believe anymore in this extremist catastrophizing worst case scenario, allowing yourself to maybe make mistakes, like taking a bit more risks. And again, taking risks, this is aggressive, but it's like moving forward, okay? So it's like stepping into, not trying to slowly pace yourself, trying to detail because you're afraid of it. No, just move into it, okay? Boldly it comes, and leaving something behind here. So this is I'm mixing everything up here. So basically this is the whole, it's a very long reading, this one, but you know, at least it's satisfying, you know. So this is very good energy, and I hope the best for you, and good luck.